Hey, peace and positive reflections, good energy to all. So in this video, I just want to talk a little bit real quick about how, well, I just wanted to say, I guess, I just saw the recent carbonation video. I think it was uploaded yesterday, and towards the very end, a caller brought up, the left and the right side of the brain, and it was an interesting point. I thought about it for a second, and I was like, you can't, emotions are very. I'm a very emotional human being. In fact, it would be probably pretty, safe to say that most of my decisions have been made from primarily a emotional standpoint, which has caused me a lot of hell. It really has, and it's something that I am working to revert. I'm definitely aware of it, and but it takes time. It takes time and energy and effort, and everything moves at its own pace, and it's good to be patient with things instead of expecting unreasonable results. So with that being said, I know I know a lot about the emotionalities and that whole realm and how it feels to kind of be governed by them. And I'm also my dad's a math teacher and I am a male, so I do also have a good brain for logic, and I like organization. I know I don't look like the most organized, and I'm not. My level isn't at a very high level, but I do know where things are. It's kind of like a messy organization, but it's just a little bit. It's actually just more organic. It's not as draconian as I call it, or it's not as sterile like a hospital. More like a forest. A forest. It's dirty. I mean, it's things are kind of sprawled everywhere, but everything has its place. That's kind of my method of organization. With that being said, I would like to sharpen that up too. But anyways, so that response, that remark, when she addressed, Eliana, or Shiftis Eliana, about, the left and the right side brain, and that's a very valid fact, and it's an important thing to really consider when thinking about the brain. Is that emotions are a huge part, and emotions are derived from our perception, like math teacher has taught us, and the perception creates our feelings. So it's our and what we perceive is giving us stimuli, which we have to listen to. I mean, we don't have to listen to. We listen to it whether we want to or not. So it's just about the level of awareness that we're able to listen to it that really matters. Like when pain is coming to you, do you listen to the pain and try to figure out where it's coming from, or do you just try to cover up the pain, or do you just revert the pain and blame somebody? So there's different ways to go about you dealing with perception and senses and stimuli, and it is very important to listen to your emotions and not to shut them out. I mean, like, the whole desire to leave Babylon is really based on an emotional level. When you think about it, it's all about emotional subjectivity. People in carbonation, I mean, I'm just speaking from what I've observed and what I've kind of heard them say from their own mouths, and the way I feel too, because I'm on the same boat as them as far as getting out of Babylon and becoming your higher self, and living in harmony with yourself and the earth as well as you can. That's definitely the goal that I've decided to make my life, and it is based out of an emotional. It is emotional. It's very emotional. I care about the planet. I care about myself. I care about the future of humanity. I feel the pain. I see the pain from the cities. I see the pain the cities cause. I see the pain the trees, the animals, the birds. I mean, the way that they live, in conjunction with all this organized chaos that we call cities, is the people, the state of misery and deterioration that they're in. It is very painful, and it's very emotional. And then all the opinions and the lack of good knowledge and all the questions, and the different lanes everybody's running in, and it's like, it's just, for me, like, I've been down so many different lanes, and that I've gone far into some farther than sometimes I wish I've it's just far enough to have some serious reverberations that are not of the good nature. And this is what bounced me back to the right way of doing things is getting deep into the darkness, and then you get that whisper, or that feeling of real suffering that is it's just like another level of hell that it's hard to explain. It's something you got to feel, but that bounces you back, that wakens you up to the consequences of your cancerous lifestyle, essentially. And this is like a lot of the pain that people are emitting living in these cities. They're in a state of suffering. The earth, the cities that the earth that the cities occupy is in a state of suffering. The minerals and the all the things that make up this whole world is creating imbalances in and around the rest of the world, which is having a painful effect. And it's all got to come back to us in one way or another. So the more that we invest into these things that are creating imbalances, the more an imbalance we're actually going to have in our own bodies. Because everything we do is a reflection of us, and everything that we do has to have a reverberating effect back on us in order to keep us in line with what is. Because if we didn't, there would be no way for things to balance each other out. It's always a balancing act. It's always a yin and yang. It's always a back and forth, a reverberation, a vibration. So anyway, with that being said, I just I guess my main point of this video was to just talk about how we need to start using our listening to our emotions, but using our logic, using the definition of logic, using objective logic to find out the right way to react to our emotions, because that's really what it is. It's all about how we react to emotions. You're going to feel a certain way about things. You're supposed to feel a certain way about things. The problem that people have, the problem that I have, that I still have, that I have had, is how I react from my emotions. And that's where logic can come in. Logic can help steer you the right way. You can realize you're in pain, you're in suffering, you don't feel good because you're living in a city that's sick and it's backward and it's full of things that really aren't good for you or have no interest for you, and that's why you don't feel good. So instead of trying to find some escapism, or instead of hurting yourself, or instead of living in pain, you could just move away from it and use your logic. That would be using your logic to solve the problem, instead of just continuing the problem but not even attempting to solve it, just by living in the problem instead of becoming the solution to the problem. So that's where logic comes in, is you use your emotions to motivate you to use the logic to solve the problem. And then you can, once you've solved the problem, you get the result, which is a positive emotion. So this is where mathematics can be very beneficial in a very simple way if we start to apply them, and start to view our life in an objective manner and not get lost in the emotions, and not get overwhelmed with the emotions, but still to feel them, still to appreciate them, still to really listen to them and communicate with them. And it takes time as well. It doesn't just, I'm just saying for myself, it takes time to really figure out what you're feeling. And I know that I myself have been at times too overzealous when I react, and that's an important thing to do. Also is to remember to just give yourself time to process, because it does take time. Stimuli can be very powerful, and we're all different levels of awareness, and based on our past and our present, our reactions are going to vary. So we all got, I got my damages to heal from, and I'm sure that there's other people that got damages to heal from too, and that's okay. That's okay. Just give yourself time. And listen to your emotions, but use your objective logic to navigate successfully, and do what you got to do to make yourself happy. But for me, I know it's leaving Babylon and helping to create a new better future for humanity, so that there isn't so much suffering in the world, because that's the only thing that I can really find that worthwhile, that I really want to put my life to, that I want to essentially, that I would die for, that I would really work myself to the bone and go out smiling. It's something like that. So anyways, with that being said, I love myself, and organize a good day. Alright, goodbye.